Hello beautiful people, my name is Chinaza Victory and you're welcome back to my channel. In today's video, you're going to learn how to cut and sew this simple bubu with a v-neck design made with ASO OKE. If this is something you're interested in, please keep watching and watch this video to the end. Let's get started. So I'm going to be making use of this ASO OKE for the front design, and I have two stripes of it, and this is my Ankara fabric. I also have my matching thread to go with it. I've placed my Ankara fabric on fold in two places. One fold will be for the front part and the other fold will be for the back. I came down from the top of the fabric by 1 inch and I rolled it across the fabric. That will serve as the borderline where the vertical measurement will be starting from. From that borderline, I measured and marked out the hip line, the length of the dress, and also 2 inches for the hem allowance. From the folded part of the fabric, I will mark the neck width of 3 inches. After that, I'll measure and mark half of my shoulder measurement. From that point, I will take the sleeve length, and this depends on how long you want your sleeve to be. Altogether, I have 17 inches starting from the folded part of the fabric to where the sleeve length is. To get the shoulder slope, I'll come down by 1.5 inches at this point and connect it to the neck width. I'm going to be making use of 1.5 inches for the back neck depth. I'll go ahead and mark out that now and connect it to the neck width. I'll corner by 7 inches for the front neck depth. I'll then connect to the neck width using my straight ruler. From the shoulder slope, I'll come down by how wide I want my sleeve to be. For me, I'm going to be making use of 9.5 inches. If you want yours to be bigger, you can increase it by, maybe you can use 10 inches, 11 or 12, depending on your choice. After marking out the figure, I will make use of my straight ruler to rule a line across the fabric like so. Remember the measurement I have here, 17 inches. That is from the folded part of the fabric to where my sleeve length is. I'm going to bring that 17 inches mark and place it on this line, the sleeve opening line. This will enable me connect these two marks to get a straight line at this point. For the horizontal measurement, I'm going to measure and mark my hip circumference divided by 4 plus 3 inches is plus extra 1 inch for the same allowance. I'll place this figure on this sleeve opening line. I'll come over to the hip line and mark the same figure. I'll also come down to the hem and mark the same figure, and at the end of the day, I will use my straight ruler to connect all these marks together to get a straight line. I don't want any form of shape on this bubu. This is how wide I want it to be. If you don't want yours to be this wide, you can make use of 2 inches ease or 1.5 inches ease allowance. I'll come over to this armhole part and use my free hand and make a little curve around there. The next thing I'll do is to come to the shoulder slope and mark 0.5 inch seam allowance for joining around the shoulder. After doing that, I will mark out where I want my side pocket to start from. I'll come over to the shoulder and measure 18 inches starting from the shoulder line, and I'll place a little notch around there when I am cutting, but for now I placed a mark there to indicate the point where the pocket will start from. I'll go ahead and cut the back neckline first, then I'll cut through the shoulder area and the side down to the hem. Initially I marked 3 inches for the neck depth, but I decided to increase it to 3.5 inches, and I also connected it back to the neck depth of 7 inches. Okay, the next thing I'll do now is to raise up this front part like so and carefully cut out the front neckline. I've cut out 4 pieces of fabric for the inner pocket, and the measurement is 10 inches by 9 inches. I've taken a step further to cut out a little piece of fabric for the turning of the back neckline. This is called a facing, and I have a lot of videos on this channel on how to cut a facing for a neckline. I will make use of this facing now to turn the back neckline. I'll place it right side facing right side like so. I'll take it to my sewing machine and sew 1/2 inch round the neckline, after which I'll overlock the rough edges of the facing and finish it properly behind the fabric. I've also cut out a facing for the front neckline. I'll repeat exactly the same process as the back bodice. I'll use this facing now to turn this front neckline. I'll place it right side facing each other like so. Then I'll take it to my sewing machine and sew 0.5 inch round the neckline. I'll overlock the rough edges of the facing and finish it properly behind the fabric. I'll come in with the pocket pieces at this point, and I'll attach each of the piece to each side of this bubu. The front side will be having 2 pocket pieces, while the back will be having 2 pocket pieces as well, altogether making it 4. I will locate the point where I notched while I was cutting. Remember the 18 inches mark? That is where I will place this pocket piece. I will use my pin to hold it down, then take it to my sewing machine and sew 1 inch on each of the pocket pieces on all the sides of this bubu. Whatever thing I do to this side, I'll go over to the other side and do exactly the same thing. After turning the front neckline, this is what it should look like. See how neat my own is looking, and look at the back of the dress. I finished it up using a hemming gum, and I overlocked the rough edges as well. I've also gone ahead to attach the pocket pieces on all sides of the front bodice. Also for the back neckline, I've done exactly what I did for the front. I finished the neckline properly and neatly using my hemming gum, and I overlocked the edges of the facing. See how neat the back neckline is as well. I've also attached the 2 pocket pieces to the back parts of this bubu. The next thing I will do now is to fold in the front part of the bubu like so. I'll fold it in and arrange it properly on every side and angle. Then I will make use of my iron and iron the center front to reveal a line around that center front. That line is very, very important. People of God, please pay attention. The time we've been waiting for is finally here. And if your ashoke is rumpled, please go and iron it at this point. Press it, iron it properly. I had to make use of my pins to hold my ASO OKE together. The two stripes are together and I use my pin to hold it at this point so that the lines will align on both ends. I'll come in with the front parts of my bubu and look at the v-neck area. Remember, it is on fold. It is still on fold. Now I'm going to arrange it this way. Look at the way I am placing it. I'll place it in such a way that this v neckline area will align. It will be on top of these straight parts of the ASO OKE like so. Look at the way I am pushing it and arranging it properly with my hands. Please arrange your own like this because this point must align. If you make any mistake here, that means your own design will not come out fine at the front. You can make use of your pins to hold it down at any point where necessary. Just make sure there is a little space around the shoulder area like you're seeing in the video, and make sure that the v-neck lays properly on the straight parts of the ASO OKE. That is actually the main trick there. Once you're satisfied with your arrangement, come over to this slanty part and mark 0.5 inch from the beginning to the end of the slant on the ASO OKE. You mark it and use your straight ruler to make a very straight line around there. After that, I'll also make use of my straight ruler to mark very close to the fabric to trace out the slanty shape on that part as well. That is exactly where I'm going to be sewing on. The first line is where I'll be cutting on, and this one I am rolling out is where I am going to be sewing on. Very close to where the fabric is, I am tracing out that slanty shape around there. I'll then go ahead and cut out the excess ASO OKE around the shoulder area, and also I'll come over to these other parts and cut on the first slanty line. The very first one, I'll cut on it. I'll now separate the fabric and keep it aside so that I can work on this ASO OKE. So this is what it should look like after cutting. As you can see, the other line is still on it, so it will guide me to sew. I'll just take it to my sewing machine and sew on that line. It's as simple as ABC. As you can see, I used my pins to hold it down because I don't want any form of mistake. So after sewing, I'll go ahead and press the seam allowance open. Look at the part that I just finished sewing. I'm going to open it up this way, and then I'll use my iron to press the seam allowance open like so. The way I'm using my hand to open it, I'll use my iron to do exactly what I am doing with my hands. After ironing, you will see this little excess ASO OKE at this part of the design. Not to worry, what you're simply going to do is to use your scissors to trim it off carefully. When you're doing this, you should be very careful. Just trim it off carefully like so. Oh my God, what in the name of beauty is this? See how beautiful and well aligned all the lines are. This is how your own should be as well. I'll open up the front parts of the bubu like so, with the right side of the fabric facing up as seen in the video. Then I'll come in with the already prepared v-neck design. I'll place it on top of it, and I'll make sure that this neck area aligns properly with the neckline of the bubu, and the V pointy area must lay flat on the line on the center front. It must correspond with that line on the center front, while I use my pin to hold every corner and every angle of the design down together with the front part of the bubu. I'll take it to my sewing machine. Using a matching thread, I'll top stitch round this v-neck area. Then I'll come over to this other edge of the design and top stitch carefully on top of the design to attach it together with this front part of the bubu. I will do that and show you the outcome. I'll come in with the back bodice at this point, and I will place it on top of these front bodies, right side facing each other, and I'll take it to my sewing machine and sew the two shoulders using 0.5-inch seam allowance I marked at the beginning of this tutorial, if you remember. This is what it should look like after joining the shoulder area. I took a step further to overlock the rough edges around this shoulder area. I'm going to take the measurement I have around the sleeve opening. This will guide me on the length of the sleeve band to cut. After that, I'll use this measurement to go and cut out 2 bands for the 2 sleeves. I've done exactly that. I folded the ASO OKE into 2 and cut out 2 bands, enough for the sleeve opening, and I'll place it right side facing each other and sew it round on both sides of the sleeve. This is what it looks like after sewing the band. Look at the back parts of the fabric. As you can see, I overlocked the edges of this band as well. Then I'll flip the front and the back like so, right side facing each other, and I'll arrange it properly. I'll take it to my sewing machine and sew 1 inch. Starting from that point, I'll come over to the pocket area and sew it like so. Then I'll come to this other part of the side. I'll continue sewing and stop somewhere here around 9 inches above the hemline. First and foremost, I'll mark my 2 inches hem allowance. From the 2 inches hem allowance, I'll come up by 7 inches. That is where I want the side slit to start from. So I'm going to repeat exactly this process on the other side of the bubu. I will do exactly that and show you the outcome. After sewing the sides, I went ahead to iron out the side seam around the slit area. I ironed it open like so. I've also used my iron to fold the hem allowance. Now you have 2 options to finish up these parts. You can either take it to your sewing machine and sew it round, or you use your hemming gum to finish it up neatly. Me, I prefer to use my hemming gum to finish up this side. So I'm going to do exactly that, and that will be the end of this tutorial. My beautiful people, if you found value in this video, please hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell to get notified each time I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.